growing up is like lowkey unbearable. I'm turning 16 in a month, and it has been making me quite unsettled and scared for a while now. And this video will focus on my thoughts about growing up. What have I been thinking about approaching this quite both insignificant date and also extremely important event in my life. So first of all, why 16? Why did I not feel this sort of unsettled dread when I was turning 15, for example? Well, that's because 16 is the age I was utterly obsessed with as a kid. I dreamed of being 16. I wanted to be 16 so bad. And that's mostly because 16 holds a lot of expectations. 16 was the age when everyone on TV went to prom and to parties. 16 was the age when everyone I knew from like older siblings and my sister's friends and the stories my parents told me of their 16. That's the age when everyone starts to drink and smoke and do drugs. 16 is the age when everyone said school starts to matter since college and universities and jobs are looming over you. And now, when I'm going to be 16, like really soon, I don't know how to feel. And I'm not dreaming of being 16 anymore. And it is not what I thought it was going to be. So I'm finding everything quite unbearably scary right now, especially the feeling of growing up. So let's get into that. Younger self. I've been thinking a lot about my younger self and all the interpretations I had of my teenage years when I was younger. And one of the main interpretations I had was that I would have dyed pink hair and a motorcycle. And the closest I've come to that is when I dyed my hair black 2 years ago and having a bicycle. So, and it's silly how it's a small thing, but I just feel like I would have low-key disappointed my younger self, because when I was around 10 years old, I was fully convinced that I was going to be like an alcoholic at the age of 16, because that's what a lot of people who were 16 in my life were. And I was fully convinced that that is what my life was going to be like until I realized that I don't like to drink and I don't like to smoke, just out of principle. It makes me feel bad, so I don't do it. And now I'm 16 years old. I'm not yet. And now I'm almost 16, and I have failed at being both reckless, unprincipled, and spontaneous, because everything I do is planned out. I don't even have a motorcycle to like, so I can't even go anywhere. Like I just have a bus card. Like I can't physically go anywhere if someone like doesn't drive me, like literally the bus guys. And I also keep thinking about all the life paths and careers and qualities I assigned to myself as a kid. For example, I thought I was going to be an actor, model, author, talented, untalented, a disappointment, a prodigy, utterly useless, a high school dropout, honestly, middle school dropout had been in my head. And strangely, I'm not any of those things. Sorry guys, I have to change my lighting settings a bit because the sun came out and it became a bit brighter in my room. Thank God. The upside of maybe not meeting all of the interpretations I had made of my life as a kid is that I have done so many things younger me could have never imagined. Like having the highest grades in tests and exams, or being part of a big friend group. I had like 1 or 2 friends when I was a kid, so being part of a bigger friend group was such a new thing for me. Participating in competitions, like of any kind, either sports or arts or school. Speaking English fluently, not something I expected of myself. Surprised myself with that one. Enjoying reading books. I hated doing that when I was a kid, and now it's literally all I do. And although those big things that I just mentioned are important, I found myself a bit more surprised about the small things, the things that I do in my day-to-day life now, but would have found so scary as a kid. That would be taking public transport, for example, and knowing where I'm going, always. Just knowing where I am, knowing where I'm going, being able to orient in big places like airports and crowds and big cities with no issues, knowing how to write emails to people, just knowing how to answer phone calls and knowing what to say during phone calls or in emails. Those are like small things, now I do them without thinking about it, but before it was like crazy to me as a kid. I was like, how do people like not get lost when they take the bus? And now I do it every day now. I do it every day. And of course it's like a small thing and it seems fairly obvious. Of course you grow up and you learn things. The main thing that fascinates me about this is how almost all of my expectations and interpretations of my older self were false, but I in a way exceeded them personally to myself. I used to, like, when I was a kid, I used to consider them, what if I what if I fail? What if I like can't get past like middle school because I'll be like too stupid? Or what if I'm just like never gonna get good grades? And now I've low-key exceeded that expectation, and now I have good grades, and now I know what I'm doing in school and I know how to learn. So the most fascinating part to me about this is change. How so many things have changed in my life in these few years, not that many years ago. I've been speaking English only for 4 years. So before that, I never thought I'd know how to do this, and now I do, and it seems so easy. I talk in English every day, and I consume English media, and it seems so simple, but it wasn't. And this on one hand is quite encouraging to me, knowing how many challenges there are in the world. And if I was able to overcome this challenge, which I thought was extremely like insurmountable, and I just like did it quite easily, it is calming to know that it actually isn't that hard. You might find yourself not living the exact version of your life you had imagined, but the version of your life you end up living might be better than the one you imagined, Like, maybe your exact dreams didn't come true, but your dreams can also change. The moment I became a teenager, things changed so quickly. Like, I blinked and all of a sudden things were just different. And I don't even know how to explain it, but I think it's most evident when you're like 15 years old or something. Because my relationships with other people have changed. All of a sudden, a friend of a friend of a friend is my friend too. And I just find myself within so many different people, like talking to so many different people and knowing so many different people out of nowhere. Something is happening all the time, which is definitely wasn't the case when we were younger. People were way more, chill. People would just sit in their houses. That doesn't happen anymore. Everyone is always doing something, which also definitely connected to social media. And people's relationships with each other change so quickly. And the saddest, I'd like to say, like the saddest and low-key, the most hurtful thing that happens when you're a teenager is that you tend to grow out of friendships. And I remember my mom telling me this when I was a kid, that like you never know who is going to be your friend in a few years, and you never know how your friendships are going to go and how is it going to change. Who are you going to talk to? Who are you not going to talk to? You don't know what life is going to like do. And I was like, no, obviously my friends right now will be my friends forever. And they were not. Surprise, they were not my friends forever. It's the time of your life. The idea that being a teenager is the best time of your life is very often emphasized by older people, and they often do say, oh, this is the best time of your life, go and enjoy it, go and have fun. And I agree with the statement itself, but I disagree with what the people actually imply. And the implications of your teenage years being the best years of your life are that other times in your life aren't that good. And this is the part that I completely disagree with. First of all, I think it's really stupid to put so much pressure on living your best life as a teenager and having every day be the best day and don't waste your time. Go there, do that, live your best life. The thing is, I don't want my teenage years to be my best life. I want my whole life to be my best life overall. And older people frame this as the idea that afterwards everything goes downhill. Everything becomes shit. You know, you have to get a job, you have to study, you have to take care of people, and it's like, ugh. And I just find that so sad because I don't want to spend my life thinking about how those 4 years of my life when I was like 15, 17, 16 were amazing, but then the rest of my life sucks ass. I don't want to live like that, you know? Like, obviously nostalgia plays a part in this. Older people very often look back at their younger years and they feel saturated, as if all the colors are brighter and every moment is more fun compared to what they are going through at the actual moment. Hi guys, it's me editing the video right now, and while talking about nostalgia, I remembered the quote from the book I'm reading. I'm reading Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, and I wanted to read you a quote, and I thought it was fitting, so let me just read that bitch. As though happiness were a thing that should not be seen, and as though it were a note that cannot be heard until it sounds from the past. When I was 5 years old, I definitely did not think that this is the best time of my life. But if you would ask me now, I'd probably love to go back. You know what, guys? Honestly, I miss this era. This is the era I miss. I don't want to agree to the idea that with years, life loses joy and meaningfulness. And I often hear this from older people, and I just disagree. Because I want to be relentlessly passionate about living. I want to constantly find new things that I like. I don't want to waste all of my passion and all of my love for life in these brief few years. I want to spend my whole life enjoying it. I don't want to expire my feelings of curiosity and novelty. And I understand why people might feel like these are the best times of their life. Because, first of all, usually people are the healthiest when they're teenagers. Second of all, they can afford to be careless. And there's a lot of new things you try when you're a teenager, a lot of new experiences, which you don't really have when you're older. And that's why I want to have new experiences when I'm older. You know, I want to seek new experiences and I want to still be fascinated and still be curious with new things. I'm really happy that as a teenager, I can have a good time and I can live my best life. But I can also live my best life at any other point, you know. And that takes a lot of pressure off, trying to always be doing the best thing, the most interesting thing, living the most appealing life. It also takes the pressure off missing out on the teenage dream. I feel like everyone has talked about the teenage dream already and how it's fake, it's not real, but I still want to talk about it because it's still in every single movie we watch. It's all romanticized, it's all aesthetic. And with social media, the teenage dream evolves. It turns into a bit different of a teenage dream. And what I decided this year for myself is that I am tired with the burden of trying to fulfill my teenage years with shit I don't want to do just to make it a teenage experience, just to have the experience. This is me again from editing, and something I didn't say in the video, but I thought it while I was filming, is the flawed idea of the teenage dream was created, I mean, it was created years ago, and the essential issue with it is that it's not inclusive. It's American, first of all, which is something I already can't relate to, and so many other people can't physically relate to because I can't go to prom. Like, I don't have prom. Like, what homecoming? Like, what is that even? I don't know. What even, guys, what is homecoming? Please explain. I don't know what that is. And it's also mostly centered around white people, American white people, straight people, cisgender people, and that idea just doesn't work in the world anymore. It just doesn't work. Like, we have evolved from white people being the standard of society. We've evolved from white, straight, cisgender people being the status quo in society. That's just not how it is anymore. So, honestly, I think the teenage dream has expired. It had its time. And right now, I think what we should prioritize is our own individual, authentic experience, because people's teenage experiences are completely different and they're all uniquely their own experience. So, yeah, that's just something I wanted to say before I continue editing the video, guys. Please don't mind the state of my hair. I want to prioritize my likes and dislikes and what I want to do in life. And I want to live through my own experiences instead of trying to meet everyone else's. And I think the biggest thing I've struggled with this year has been the fact that, I always see my friends hanging out, and then I feel bad that I didn't hang out with them, and maybe I should have hung out with them, or maybe I shouldn't stay at home so much. Maybe I should go out. But then I think about the fact that I don't really want to go out, and I low-key just want to stay at home. But then I'm guilt tripping myself about staying at home, and I am tired. I'm tired. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel that I'm missing out this opportunity and missing out that opportunity, because what if I'm gonna miss out on the teenage experience? Well, it's my fucking experience. It's my fucking experience, and I choose to do with it whatever I want. And the best part of my teenage years is just feeling at peace with myself. The part when I felt the best in myself and with my life is when I was all alone, just feeling happy without anyone else's input, just listening to good music or watching a good movie, or honestly making these videos, reading my books, and once in a while hanging out with friends and people I like, but not forcing myself to always be doing what other people are doing, because I've realized that it just doesn't make me feel good. I feel lonelier in a group of people rather than in my room with myself. I love hanging out with people. I love talking to people, and I love having amazing, great people around me. But I've also learned that not all people who I talk to match what I'm feeling at this point. Sometimes I'm talking to people and I give them all of my energy and, oh, this happened and this. Do you like that? What about that? What do you think about that? What if we do that? And then they just reply with and I'm like, okay, yeah. And a really interesting part of growing up to me has been returning to form. I realized that I'm the most similar to myself at 3 years old than I am to any past version of myself, because that was the version which was not corrupted by any outside forces, really. It was the most pure, version with the most pure childhood dreams, wish to explore, curiosity, happiness. The best way how I can actually explain this is that when I was 3 years old, I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to like make songs, and I thought that was going to be like super fun. But then with age, when I turned 7 years old, I was like, I could never be a singer. I'm not talented enough. So then I stopped thinking about it and I just shoved the dream at the back of my brain. I just like never thought about it again until I was a teenager, and I was like, but why would I not do that? Like, what is stopping me right now from doing that? I do not have to be world famous. There's no need for that. What is stopping me from just making my songs? Literally nothing. So then I just started doing that. And it has brought me so much joy and happiness to just write songs. I love writing things, which is another thing I loved doing when I was a kid. I would make little books out of paper. And currently I feel so much closer to that version of myself than I do to anyone else. And it's scary to grow up because what the actual fuck, guys? How have I gotten this far? But I think the essence of this video is that growing up feels quite unbearable, but I love it. Like, it's unbearable to misunderstand people and grow out of relationships and lose opportunities and lose talents and lose interest in things. But you get to meet new people and you get to have new experiences and you get to witness the world changing for the best, hopefully. And uncertainty is scary, but overall I think I'll be fine being 16. I think. Thank you for being here. And I hope my camera works. I hope this is fine. And I can definitely make more videos like this because I have a lot to say about this. So, and I hope they don't end up being too repetitive. If they do, I'm sorry, but I just like to yap. I'm a yapper at my core. A yapper at my core. Bye.